Going on, people? It's Gilbert Robinson here, entrepreneur. In this video, I'm pretty much going to discuss how I turned my life from nothing to something, and stressful to stressless. And by the way, I'm not even at the top of my game yet. I'm doing really well. I'm making good money, and I'm happy with that. And just to know that things are getting better is just a wonderful feeling to know. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my story, and I'm gonna start off with the fact that when I graduated high school in 2009. I wound up going straight to college for criminal justice, to follow my parents' footsteps. They're both, cops. One was a sergeant, one was a lieutenant. And, I really wasn't too sure if I really wanted to do criminal justice. So what happened was I went there for about 6 months, and then I actually left. And then I went to automotive school because, I'm a huge car junkie, and I love cars, Ford and Volkswagen specifically. But everyone has their options, but that's my favorite. So I went to automotive school because I saw these commercials on the television. I'm like, you can, basically they were saying how you can make a great income, you can make all kinds of a living doing what you love, working at the top manufacturers of the industry, and I'm like, wow, I can learn how to fix cars and then wind up making good money, living a pretty comfortable, stable life. So I went to school from automotive about 2010 up until the end of 2011, and then I finally started working in the field. And it was a huge disappointment because it wasn't even close to what I thought it would be. I was working these crazy hours, waking up early in the morning. Like, sometimes I had to wake up 5 in the morning just to get to my job. And it was like early, it was so miserable and depressing, and I was working and I wasn't making no money, and I was making this little bit of money and I had all kinds of bills. Like, I was slammed with bills at the time. I had tuition and, because it was automotive. Some of you don't know, automotive requires small investments like tools and a toolbox. So I had to pay for tools, toolbox, school. I had a car, so I was paying for a car note. I had all kinds of bills and my cell phone bill, plus more. I have a whole list, but overall I couldn't afford it, And I kept jumping from dealership to dealership. I jumped to a total of 3, starting with Ford, Toyota, and Mercedes. And it was like nothing was working out for me, I was struggling, and it was like, no matter, after the 3rd dealership, I realized I was like, jumping from dealership to dealership is not going to help my income. I need to find something different. I need to find something to do. But it was like I couldn't afford to go to school again, because let alone a college, because they're like, they're expensive. They're so much money. It's like, how am I going to manage to afford that and the bills that I have? Even when it's not even guaranteeing me a job in a trade that I chose, So I was figuring out what I'm going to do, and I really didn't know. And it was just so ironic that my friend Jamel Turner, who's actually in the same company as me still, we were talking, and he was telling me how he was doing marketing of some sort, He was working at home, and I remember him. He was working at this grocery store called Stop and Shop. He was there for like 2-3 years, and then all of a sudden he quit. He didn't get fired, he quit because he was making so much money at home. And I was like, wow, how are you doing this? And then he showed me the company Empower Network. He showed me how they basically teach you how to market. They teach you the easy steps that you plug and play, and basically you get sales. You get people to join your team because they see the vision behind it. And I didn't really believe it. I thought it was a scam at first. And I was like basically the small-minded person where everything at home was a scam because you had to invest. But honestly, at that point, I was just looking for some kind of change because I couldn't afford the way I was living. I couldn't afford being an auto mechanic forever. So, I found out about him, and, I just instantly joined. And, I got started right away. And I kind of actually blew it off for a couple of months because I was working so much. So when I started seeing him and the people in Empower Network started to get massive results, I actually, I started caring less about my job. I was like, that this job is not for me because the people that I'm working for don't even care. They don't care about me. They'll fire me and replace me in an instant, as if I never worked there before. So I finally got on board and Empower Network started taking it real seriously, and I paid myself back within the first week. I started signing up people, and everything started going well. And obviously, I had some down moments, but, what business doesn't? You're never going to have a business where you're constantly, making money, and it's not stopping. It's any business that I'm in, and that's any business that you're in. I learned that, I've seen that. Because there's some business where you don't make money at all. But, I had some high points, and then I had some low points. But overall, I wound up leaving my job because I was making more than the automotive was even, given me as a paycheck. And mind you, the third automotive dealership, I was at Mercedes. I was also working the second job as a valet, so I had two jobs at one point, and it was still not covering my bills because both jobs didn't want to pay me. I wasn't making no money. So when I was actually doing the marketing and Empower Network, it changed everything, because now I was making money on my own terms. So then when I wound up quitting, I wound up going full-time. I wound up putting all this effort into it, and it just turned out so remarkable. Now I'm living life on my own standards. I've been in the city, New York City a lot. I'm traveling, I'm just living life the way I want to in the comfort of my own home. And, it gave me time to really find out who I am as a person, find out what I really want to do with myself, find out what I really want to do with life because, when you have free time like that, you start to value your time more than the money. And I actually do, the money's great, but I value the time off that I have even more because you can always make another dollar. You can always go back and get a job, but every second that passes by, in order for you to relive it, you have to think about it. You can't rewind time. So that's what's so important to me, and that's why I was so against a job because you're trading time for money, and you should be doing the opposite. You should be trading money for time. So that's why I felt like investing in yourself was important. And now looking back at it, it was the best investment I ever made. Because now it changed everything. It changed the way I live. It changed the way I let go of all my grudges. I've made changes that were for the better, and now it only gets better. I've met all kinds of people who have the same mindset as me, and, most companies, you just don't get that, and you damn sure don't get that at a job. I'll tell you that straight up. With jobs are stressing. I've seen people at jobs, and they're just so miserable. They don't know what to do with themselves because they don't know better. And, a lot of people that I know don't know better either, and that's why, this is so powerful to me. And that's how I turned my life around. I turned my life around because I wanted change, and I went out and I got change. I did something that a lot of people want to do. A lot of people will accept the stress and accept it. I wasn't accepting it. I wanted different, and I was going to find different. So when I found different, I took advantage of it, and, I just went hard. I hustled, and, things worked out for the better. So if you need to turn your life around, if you need to make a change, you got to be willing to make the change. And I'm not even talking in the sense of marketing. I'm talking in life in general. The only way that you can change is if you make the change yourself. You can't just wait around and keep going back to school. You got to find a way out of it because if you don't, you're just going to be stuck in the same position. So the lesson of this video is make a change for your life and, stop trading your time for money, because the time you don't get back, appreciate yourself as for who you are and, appreciate the time that you have on this earth, whatever way you can do that. But don't work yourself to the bone and don't stress yourself out because in the long run, bills are going to be bills, and they're always going to be there. So don't kill yourself over something that you can't change unless you make the change. You got to change yourself as a person. You can't just keep getting jobs and expect the things to turn out better because I'm telling you, I had two jobs. At one point, I had three back then when I was in high school, but it was like, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work out. And all you need to do pretty much is just, you got to tell yourself, do I need to change? And am I willing to change to do whatever? Am I willing to do whatever it takes to change? Ask yourself that question, and I can assure you that the change will come. It's all in the mindset, and it's all about what you want out of life. This is Gilbert Robinson. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you're looking to make the change, I'll see you on the other side of success.